Justin Moorhouse, welcome to our podcast. Actor,
Yep.
comedian,
Yep.
father,
Yes.
vegan.
Yes.
Is there anything that you can't do, Justin?
I can't sing at all.
Oh, really?
I can't sing.
You
Yeah.
have a nice raspy voice as well.
Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you? I had some singing lessons once, and the person said, "Oh, anybody can sing," and I did a bit of singing, and she went, "I don't think you're very good at singing." So there's a lot of jobs that I've gone for where I could have gone for, but I wouldn't because I can't sing. So
In pantomime, you swerve that, do you?
pantomime, I do it like speak, singing.
Do you want to?
So I could talk to the animals, walk with the animals. That's it. Once I did a panto at the Opera House, and it was the end. It was everybody, you know that song.
Yeah.
And it was me who had to get everybody going. So it was like it was whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much for coming to our panto today at the Manchester Opera. And it was like one of them, but you had to hit a beat. And the musical director, a guy called Steve Power, every night was just looking at me and going, just go, yeah, because it was me. I was leading the band, so
Yeah.
so. No, I can't. I'm not very good at singing, so that's my thing. I can't play any musical instruments. Don't know any foreign languages. Everybody, when you say to them, "What do you wish you could do?" they all wish they could play a musical instrument or speak a foreign language, but no one does anything about it.
No. And when you could actually learn it, it's probably
Easy.
not that difficult.
My daughter plays the piano, and she's really good at it now. She's
How
been
old
doing
is
it a couple of
she?
years.
15?
No, 13.
13.
Yeah, so she's started. You know, she's really good. I
Excellent.
thought she was brilliant the other day. We bought this second-hand electric one, you know. I thought she was brilliant the other day. I was good. And she just pressed the demo. I thought,
That is a little bit of a cheat. I mean, I can do that,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm terrible with musical instruments. Now, Justin, to get to know you a little bit more,
Yeah.
I've just got a quick fire round for you,
quick fire.
and then we can go into the
Okay.
business of the business.
Yeah.
So,
My daughter does business at school, and every time she goes, I've got to do my business, it makes me laugh. And then her mum goes, taking care of business.
what mum sings that to her as well?
Yeah, yeah.
Is a mum funny as well? Then?
Not as funny as me, but yeah.
I imagine you have to be quite funny though to be with a comedian because it must. If it's,
Oh, yeah, she is.
I guess it can get
Yeah.
quite relentless though if you were just constantly cracking.
No,
jokes.
because it's not like I'm walking around the house shaking their hand and I've got a buzzer on and like smell me flower. It's not like I'm a clown 24 hours a day.
You
It's
never
not
like that is how
when
you
give
imagine it though.
But when you give your kids like the breakfast, you're not negotiating with them.
I
are
do.
you? All
No,
right.
it isn't. Everything is a negotiation nowadays. It's like, Mum, instead of having 2 pieces of fruit, can I have
Yeah.
1 fruit and 1 biscuit?
Yeah.
Everything's a negotiation with a child. Right, okay, so I'm going to do this. Find out more about you.
All right.
Peter or Paddy?
Difficult. Paddy.
Oh, right, okay, good. Balm or roll?
Balm.
Hummus or aubergine?
Hummus.
Brexit or Remain?
Remain.
What?
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Just, then I'm surprised.
Whoa. You can't just say that and leave it. You can't just say these things and leave it. Brexit or Remain.
No, this is quick fire.
All right. Remain.
Remain. All right, good.
And I'll tell you why.
No.
All right, because I think, no, I won't tell you why. You don't want to edit this bit.
Second out. Stage or screen?
Stage.
Money or fame?
That's a difficult one. Money.
Yeah. Pub or bar?
Neither. Don't drink. Teetotal.
Good.
So,
No. My mum always told me to never trust anybody who doesn't drink now.
well, I used to drink, so there you go.
That's right. I used to trust you then.
Yeah. Oh, no, you shouldn't have done.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
City or United?
United.
Actor or comedian?
Comedian.
Excellent. Well, I feel like I know you a bit better.
That's a tough, like Peter or Paddy one is a tough one. Because I see more of Paddy now.
Yeah.
And you're talking about Paddy McGuinness and Peter King, if you're wondering. Yeah. And I don't see Peter very often. But I'm, often when you do little interviews, they'll go, do you mind if we talk about Phoenix Nights?
Yeah.
And I've been on the other side of it where I've been chatting to like someone who used to be in Emmerdale and now they're doing some kind of tour of a Alan Ayckbourn play. And they go, I'm not talking about my time in Emmerdale. You think, well, why do you think you're here?
Yeah.
No, you know what I mean? If you hadn't been in Emmerdale, you wouldn't be sat here. So
Yeah.
I'm really, really grateful for what Peter did for me giving me part in Phoenix Nights. If he hadn't have done, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, but was you already a comedian? at that point?
Well, yes, but not of any standing at all. I was 6 months in. Yeah, it was really new. It was brand new.
And so then, can I ask you about that as well then? So when you're doing your stand-up comedy, like the comedy club and stuff, when you first starting, do you get paid for them slots, or is it all...
It's different now, but when I started out, funnily enough, I did a lot of open mic nights. So there's a lot of that going on. There's a really good kind of rule in stand-up comedy, I think, is work for free until you're good enough to be paid, and once you're good enough to be paid, stop working for free.
Right.
So, and it's about knowing when that line is.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about like trying new material out and going to open mic nights and doing, like I still go to nights now where I'm not on the bill, and I say, can I do 10 minutes because I've got some new stuff? You don't expect to get paid for that. But when I started out, it was open mic nights, and we used to do this thing called Raw at the Frog and Bucket, and we used to get a £5. Even just like brand new, you get a £5 expenses. And in those days, a £5 would buy me a packet of fags. So I was like, every week I would do it because I thought at least I get a packet of fags out of it. So I was I worked for about, in my first year I did about 250 shows, and I had a full-time job.
So you was doing it weekly then, or?
Every night,
Yeah.
nearly every night, yeah.
Okay.
I had a full-time job as well, and
Doing
I was a salesman.
a good one?
No, not
I
really.
imagine you would be good though, because you're
Nah.
funny and people buy into you, not the product.
We keep flip-flopping around here, but I'll give you an answer to that as well. I look back now on my career, what it was called, I was new business sales. And you know what, I wasn't that kind of killer enough just to ask for the order and all that kind of stuff that you're supposed to do. I wasn't really interested in that. The thrill of the chase wasn't that. For me now, I look back, and if I was giving me a job, I'd put me in charge of business development. I'd look after customers, and I was really good at that, and I was really good at extracting more out of them. So once we got them, I would really make sure, and I kept them. Do you know what I mean?
So you could like upsell, they'd be your friends, you were a good account manager.
Yeah, and no one left me. Do you know what I mean? Because we were getting new business and we were looking after our own customers as well, and never lost customers.
Right.
But I was just that kind of, I think I might have been a bit shy, and what I was selling, there wasn't anything unique about it. And because I'm quite honest, I'd go into these meetings and they go, oh, our parcel delivery service is slightly better than that one. And they, and I would just try out the usual features. It was all just features and benefits and all that sort of stuff. And anyway, I was very good at knowing when I was about to get sacked. That's what I was very good at. And then I was good at getting another job, and that's what I did quite often.
You was flip-flopping about to...
Is that what they call it?
Short term of what's happening in the podcast.
Yeah. So I kind of worked... That was the last sort of jobs I had. I worked for CityLink, Parcel Line, TNT, Green Line, a company still called Crowfoot's Carriers. So there might have been more than that, and then a different city-like franchisee. So I had 7 jobs in the same industry in about less than 5 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a nightmare. So then, if I would have received your CV being the 7th employer,
but you
then
wouldn't
I'd
put
be
it
like,
all
he's
on.
worked at 60. Oh, you wouldn't put it on.
Yeah, you won't put it all
You
on.
wouldn't put it on.
Everything gets extended a little
You
bit.
shouldn't put it on.
Everything gets...
So you had 2 jobs for 6 years.
In those days, yeah. But also, it was that kind of industry. It was like, you knew everybody anywhere, and they'd say, come and work for us, and that sort of
So
thing.
you headhunted a little bit.
Yeah, but before I sort of worked in that kind of sales, I've had like 40 jobs. I've literally been a milkman, market trader, painter and decorator for a few weeks.
So do you think that all this has had an impact or contributed to then you developing your personality of being funny, or was you always a character?
I think, I was funny, but then again, so were all my mates. Everyone, all your mates are funny, aren't they? But I think I was the loudmouth. I think I was the one who'd take the joke too far.
Yeah.
I was the one who'd go the extra mile for the joke. And also, I loved comedy as well. I loved it. Like I loved comedy as much as I love football and music.
Yeah.
I was a comedy fan. I was a bit of a nerd.
Yeah.
So before I met Peter Kay, I used to go and watch him.
Yeah.
Follow him around when he was kind of famous round here. And Johnny Vegas, I was a big fan of Johnny Vegas at the same time. But I used to go to... And I never, ever... I'd made the correlation between liking comedy and then doing it. And then one day, I don't know where... Oh! It was for another company I worked for. In between all those other companies. I was driving around Bolton, funnily enough. for a small company. I was doing it because it was all hands on, you know, and the franchisee didn't have enough drivers there to go out and deliver some parcels. And I was just driving, and I just thought, and I remember thinking I was in Bolton and the Peter connection and everything, and I thought, I wonder how you become a comedian. I was 29 then. I thought, I wonder how you become a comedian. So I literally phoned up the comedy club from the car, and I said, how do you become a comedian? Like, it is really weird. And the guy goes, oh, you need to have balls of steel. You need to, like, just come and do it. That's the only way of doing it.
Oh God, I feel like nervous for you now.
Yeah.
Actually telling me the story, I would just be, I'd be in full panic mode.
So he booked me in. He booked me in for a gig, and I went along the first week. Smart.
Sorry, I'm doing it live off. I just don't want it all to go out there.
All right.
And I like this story, so
All
I
right.
like to be on save for the podcast.
So that was the first kind of like night I went down, smashed it. It was brilliant. But I had about 30 mates there.
So, all right. And
Yeah.
so how long was you on for the first time? It's just a 5 minute
minutes,
slot.
yeah.
And then, so before you went, was you like, right, this
I had
is
2
my
weeks.
order?
I had 2 weeks before I did it,
Right,
and I would go and drive my car into the hills,
yeah.
literally, like in the middle of nowhere, and force myself to write down funny things. And it was just so, you know, looking back now, the stuff I did was awful, you know.
Was it?
Oh, yeah.
Was it like thrilling though? Like, so when you were like driving about and you're on your own and you're like, oh, I'm writing all this stuff, was it? Like,
I wasn't
really
thrilled,
good?
I was anxious.
Really?
Yeah, so I was really, because I'd also mouthed it off and told loads of people I was going to do it. So I was saying, oh yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to be a comedian, and they were all, and I'm sure of those 30 odd people that came, you know, I'd say a good half of them were mates, you know, who were like to support me and have a good night out. And if it went wrong, you know, it'd be all right. I reckon there was a few there that were like, yeah, let's see him fall on his ass.
Yeah.
I don't know what the rest of them were doing. But they came, I mean, it was like literally like the raw nights then on a Monday night, there was probably about 100 people in, and 40 people say had come to see me.
Yeah.
So I had swelled the numbers.
So you had a good.
Yeah. So then I went back the
start.
week after, did the similar sort of stuff, but I was just so confident, and I was chewing gum like that, died on my ass.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And so you did it. You had different material this time.
No. So I did the same
Oh, you did the same
material, yeah. Then went back the week after, switched up a little bit, but was more focused, and did all right. So I had a
then
good
you're
one, a
using
bad
the
one,
same
and an all right.
thing, but you're using the same material. So then, what is it? Just the conviction of the joke that,
Who knows?
or the people
That's
who are
the-
there? That's difficult.
That's the
isn't it?
massive thing though about that, because it's magic, it's alchemy. You don't know why. No one knows why.
Why some people get. Well, that's like another thing I was thinking. So obviously you're northerner, you're a northern comedian, you've got the stigma. Do people
Stigma?
up? No, you know,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. It's like
mark,
oh,
yeah,
you are
a badge.
a northern
Yeah.
comedian. I think you should be proud of it. Obviously, I'm a northern.
I'm not.
businesswoman.
My show's called Northern Joker, the current tour that I'm doing, and I'm not very parochial. I'm proud of where I'm from and what I am, and my background. I mean, my parents were, you know, very much working class, aspirational working class. You know, they'd bought their own house. My grandparents had bought their own house, which is quite unusual for that era.
Yeah.
No one knows. My granddad went to the war and came back with some money in a suitcase. It's a really odd story. No one really knows. But
What,
they,
he found some money in the war.
nah, I think he might have won it gambling or something. Or yeah.
Right.
But both my grandparents and my maternal side were literally from slums. Literally, you know.
Yeah.
You know, houses that have been you know, slum clearances now. My grandmother was one of 13. You know, and you know, and not even a Catholic. And my, you know, seriously. And my granddad's family, you know, street fighters and that kind of like proper like, you know, thing. And I'm quite glad that that's in me. Really, there's a bit of a work ethic that's in me.
Yeah, because then it's going to pass down then to your mother, and then that's instilled
Yeah.
in you. Where you like, my mum was the same, I guess, dragged up, if you like. She lived in a house that had no carpets. Where she lived, it's all been flattened now. She lived with her grandparents, not her parents, and so she was dragged up. But so when we was brought up, she was like, "You've been lucky, you've even got carpets." I'm like, oh, I'm not going to start.
Oh, I had
walking
a
the
look.
floorboards.
You know, we definitely were working class, but we had a nice. You know, it was fine. You know, my dad was in and out of work a lot. Because of the kind of jobs that he did, he was, you know, getting made redundant. So there was times when, you know, times were tough and that. Mum always worked when she could. You know, I never had a stay-at-home mum, so just a very typical kind of...
And so then what was there like with you with your education? Was there, you do well at school?
See, it's difficult to say really because it's a long time ago now. I can't really remember ever being told to do my own work.
Oh, right.
Yeah. My brother went to Manchester Grammar School. He got a bursary, scholarship, because he was bright. And I did some exams for these kind of schools, and I didn't get in. Now, I cling to the fact that when my brother got in, my dad was unemployed. When I was going in, they wouldn't have been able to afford the fees.
Ah, right.
They just wouldn't have been able to afford the fees. You know, my brother only
so
went,
you get it for free?
Because we were on the dole, you know.
Ah, right.
But I think then that changed. So then, like, my dad got in work and had to pay school fees. So my brother had this, a very good private, independent school education. Manchester Grammar School, really good school. And I just went to the local comp and, just breezed my way through. Dead confident, dead cocky. One of the brightest kids in the class, obviously. But I am, you know what I mean? I'm not dumb.
I think a lot of comedians, though, all comedians, I think you've got to be really clever. You've got to
I think so. There's something. But then I went to do my exams and genuinely thought, this will be easy. And then just took them, went on holiday, came back, and I'd missed the results day. And I went to get results from school, and the caretaker gave them to me. And as the caretaker gave them to me, he looked at me and he went, ooh.
Oh, no.
And they were terrible. I'd just done really, really bad. So the plan is I wanted to go to the sixth form and all that sort of thing, but then I had to get I had to go do a YTS and I started work.
YTS apprentice, like
Yeah.
an apprenticeship.
Forget everyone's so young now. The youth training scheme.
Oh, right, okay.
So I started work as an office clerk for £27 a week. And I used to give my mum £12.50 of that. And my bus fare was £6 a week, so I had about £9 a week left over. And I worked in town, I worked in city centre Manchester and worked for a shipping clerk. I kind of enjoyed that for a bit. I enjoyed that kind of world.
And was you thinking then, so you're young, obviously this podcast is aimed at business careers, younger people, helping them to see what they could, perhaps the potential, fulfill the potential.
Yeah.
Was you at this point, at 16 years old, I did not have a clue what I wanted to be. Some people do, they know I want to be a doctor. Did you have any idea?
Nothing, no grand ambitions there was no path for me. I want to be, I don't want to sound like I'm slagging my parents off on my background or anything like that, but it wasn't very aspirational. It wasn't, I look back now and I'm different with my kids, you know what I mean? I'm kind of hands off and do what you want to do and, I hate the idea of someone being forced into something they don't want to do. I think that's only second worst to not being shown anything.
Yeah,
Which I think maybe I was. I don't know. Mum and Dad had 4 kids and life was tough and, and they didn't...
But I think it's a change in times as well.
Yeah.
As parents now, you're more educated on what you should do with your kids as well. I think...
And they didn't go to university. They didn't, my brother was the first one in our family to go to university.
And I'm guessing in that point, though, that's like a real big achievement in those days as well, because normally the working class people wouldn't really have gone to university.
Yeah.
It wasn't a thing, was it?
No, and I look back now, and if I've got any regrets, and this is not about me, is it? It's about people taking advice. And my simple bit of advice would you just never think you can't do anything. Sorry, I'll say that correctly. Never think that anything's impossible, because it's not.
Yeah.
You can go to university if you want, or you can do an apprenticeship, or you can get a job, or you can start your own business. You've just got to do it.
Yeah.
You've got to work hard. Life is about working hard. But if you find something you love, it's not hard work.
Yeah.
I think that's really trite and obvious, but for me, that's the thing. It took me, and now I look back on it, not that long really, only about 10 years or so, to find my thing that I wanted to do. When I found it, I just clamped onto that and didn't let it go.
I imagine that at the time you think, oh, I'm 29, you're in and out of jobs. Like,
I was married, I had a child.
Yeah.
We're divorced now. We divorced quite soon after that, so clearly wasn't 100%. Everything wasn't great at home. unfulfilled, dowdy,
I imagine you feel like old at the time as well. You feel mature,
Yeah.
and now looking back, you think actually it wasn't.
I look back now,
What you
then,
learn.
when I was 29, and I feel younger now than I did then. I'm more alive now than I was then.
Yeah.
I think that's the point. When you find something that you really enjoy and you can do it and you're good at it, it's such a thrill.
Yeah, that's
It's
really
such a
nice.
ride.
It's nice
It's
to
such
hear.
I've often said that I've never had a day, that's nearly 20 years now I've been doing stand-up, I've never had a day where I've woke up and gone, I've got to go to work.
Yeah.
And very rarely did I ever wake up and go, I've got to go to work.
Yeah.
I love what I do. Every day's great. Who wants to be sat driving a car on the M6 for 9 hours? That stuff's boring. And, trains and planes and boring hotels and that sort of stuff's good. But standing in front of a room full of people and them laughing, it's like, for a needy little prick like I am, it's perfect.
Yeah.
And you get paid for it,
Yeah.
and you get to travel the world.
So what would you advise your children though? So your children are 13 and 16, I think.
No, my son's 22.
Oh, is he 22?
Yeah, my son's 22, yeah.
Oh, is it university?
He's left now.
Oh, he's just finished. Sorry,
No,
I
no,
thought
he's
he
not
just
finished.
his
He's
A
quit.
levels.
He's
Oh, he
quit.
quit?
Yeah. So he similarly tried it, didn't like it, and now he's doing really well. He works for Warehouse Projects and Park Life.
Oh, right.
So yeah, he's
Events, like.
digital marketing and does all that sort of stuff. He's found his
niche.
He's found his thing, yeah. Like
And he's happy doing
music and hanging around.
Yeah.
Yeah, and going on Twitter.
It's
kind of perfect. Yeah.
And so would you be, when he was leaving university, would you be proud of him for having the balls to leave university and come and tell you? Would you be a bit embarrassed of it?
No,
Some parents
not
would
embarrassed.
Be.
No, because he went to university. So basically, he went to school. Bright kid, loved school. Didn't love school. Didn't love it at all.
Right.
Didn't love it. Did all right in his GCSEs. Got enough. Went to college. I think liked college a bit better because he went to college in town, and wasn't in a school environment. It was more of a grown-up thing.
Yeah.
Did subjects that he liked. Then he took a year out, and then I think he then, for me, I'm speaking on his behalf, but I think he got left behind a bit. This is the thing when you take a year out.
Yeah.
If you take a year out on your own, everyone else carries on.
Yeah.
So what happened was, he took a year out, and the rest of his sort of peer group went to uni, and then he went a year later, so he was a year behind them, finished the first year of his course, thought, it's not for me, wanted to switch his course, started a new course, so that year then, he was starting his first year, and all his pals were starting their third year,
Yeah.
and he just looked at it and went, nah, this is not for me. And that's when he got out then, so...
Right, so he did 1 year then.
And a couple of weeks, and didn't cancel his course quick enough, and then has got to pay for a whole term.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
joking.
And
Killer.
yeah.
It's so expensive though, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's not
Is it-
applied for his loan either, so he's...
He's just
So,
paying
it's
it.
so I think there's always consequences to things. I think when he was 16, he got a job at the Comedy Store, and he's worked, every single week since he was 16. He's 22 now, and I think that's important.
Yeah.
I think if you're doing
100%.
A levels, even if you go to university, even if you just do one shift a week somewhere, to spend some time in the real working world
With adults as
with
well.
adults, being responsible for getting there on time, perhaps doing something you don't like, mixing, if you're at university and you're reading, classics with a load of your mates, and you're just, oh yeah, classic, and then you're going out seeing bands and eating falafel and hanging around and doing all that sort of
Your
stuff.
perception of students is amazing.
But that's true, though. It is true. But it is true. That's but hanging around in a scruffy house, and and that is brilliant. And I'm not knocking that. That's what you have to do. Of course, that's brilliant. Why wouldn't you do that? I wish I could do that now. But I think it's also important as well to spend maybe a one shift or two shifts working in Tesco's or Sainsbury's or a
Yeah,
chippy
because I
or something.
think
You meet different people. You've got to mix.
And students, when they go then into the real world, if somebody's been on an apprenticeship scheme doing media, marketing, something along those lines, or digital media, what your son's doing now, and they've been learning on the job and they've got experience of working and they've got proof of it and it's on
Yeah.
the CV, that is more appealing than just a student. But if you've got your student who's then worked as well,
Yeah.
me as an employer, I would think, oh, well, at least they've got experience working, so they're not just going to come in here after being a student and think they can just chill out.
And also, sometimes people don't, it's not their fault. Sometimes people think, that, it's like, you start somewhere new and somebody goes, make a brew. And they're like, where to make the brews? You're like, yeah, you are.
Yeah, you are, pal.
Yeah, because then I'll make the brews as well. It's either a place where everyone makes the brews or the new people make the brews.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not slave labour. Do you know what I mean? This is a problem, I think. I think but younger people, I think the difficult thing to understand and realise, I think, is when you are young, you're not young forever. So don't worry about it, because it might be a bit shitty now, but it'll be all right soon.
Yeah.
Think back when you was...
everybody's had to go through that.
Yeah.
I had some terrible jobs, being a waitress, a buzzgirl. I got fired all over the show. Worked at Matalan. I hated everything that I did as well. But everybody goes through all of that, and then it teaches you this is what real life is about.
Of course
sometimes
it is. And sometimes people like you can't work for people.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, that's the problem. That and I think I won't be told anything sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think you have to be honest with yourself and say sometimes that holds people back who are self-employed and entrepreneurial, which is what you are, and in a way that's what I'm supposed to be as well. I create my own work, and that's what I do. Create my own market and that sort of thing. But if you're doing that because you can't have a boss, which is like what a lot of people do, it can be sometimes it pays to listen to people.
Yeah. You've got to find the right balance, and I think you've got to know yourself. You're either going to be really great at running your own, but I think a lot of people think, oh, it's walking part running a business, especially because I wasn't very bright. I just got by with everything, and so then people seen me starting my own business, and which is a really nice thing. Then they would feel inspired and start their own business, but then realise the difficulties of having your own business. It isn't just, willy-nilly start your own business, it's this easy, I'll come and go as I please, I've got nobody telling me what to do. You've got responsibilities of your tax, your VAT, employing your staff, conforming to employee laws as well when you've got loads of staff, and then you paying the bills, then doing your actual job, which you started to do. And I think some people start it without fully thinking through the situation of, are they going to be able to do that, or are they better just to work for somebody else? Yeah,
I mean, I suppose I look back now and I think, you do always look back at different points in your life, don't you? And you go, well, if I'd have stayed in a job, would I be happy now? Maybe I'd have found something else. I mean, I still wake up every now and then in the middle of the night and think, what am I going to do if this stops?
Yeah. It's just that is because it's your own business, really. Yeah. It's the same with me. That's why I started other businesses, because I was panicked about it, genuinely worried, like, this can't last forever. And what about when this ends? Like, I cannot go and work for somebody else. I can't imagine doing it. And you'll know once you've done something that you love for so long, the thought of going back. But you've got to earn money still, haven't you?
But not even like the thought of going back. What would I do? I am not qualified to do anything.
Yeah.
Can you think of an industry?
I'd give you a job.
Doing what?
So if you stop being funny,
what would I do though for you?
I don't know. You're a salesman. You've got sales experience. You could be an account manager.
Yeah.
We'll make up a role for you. People would love it.
Write that down.
Guarantee. Right. I've got one last question for you as well.
Was that it? I thought we were talking about careers. All right. It's all right. I'm joking.
All right. We can continue if you want.
Yeah.
Right. My final question is, what is your opinion on women comedians?
Same as male comedians. Some of them are funny, some of them aren't.
I think in general...
I don't think... Right. I think women... Some of the funniest people I know are women. Some of the unfunniest people I know are men. Some of the funniest people I know are men. Some of the unfunniest people I know are women.
Yeah.
I think it's not about women comedians. It's about the audience's take on it.
Yeah. I think it's nice to see there's lots more coming on.
Yeah.
All my favourite comedians, to be honest, are men.
Yeah.
And it isn't that I don't find women funny. I do, but it is the audience perception, like you say, and getting used to.
I can't think of anybody funnier, than Victoria Wood.
Yes.
I can't think of anyone funnier than Julie Walters. I can't think I've ever laughed as much as watching Dawn French and Jennifer Saunders do some stuff.
Yeah, I actually think the French Saunders.
Yeah. So there are loads of female comedians out there, loads, and there's been history, millions of them.
Can I ask, do you not think that they're just held in kind of like a golden era?
All right, Sarah Millican's one of the funniest people I know.
Yeah, she's good, yeah.
I think Sarah Pascoe is really, really funny. Yeah. I know, the fact that we have to sit here and list them. Felicity Ward is absolutely brilliantly funny, Australian. There's loads of great female Australian comedians. Female Australian comedians have got this real great edge to them. Right. That I really like. There's a real sass. Yeah. They kind of like, there's something about them. My mate Kieran Pritchard McLean, who lives in Collyhurst, is making waves now. She's dead funny. There's loads of, her and Rachel Fairburn have got this podcast about serial killers. That's massive. Oh, really? And they're really funny on that. So I don't think so. I think that sometimes the environment of comedy clubs makes it hard for audiences to sort of accept that women are funny. It's a bit weird. Because there's a lot of misogyny in comedy as well. There's a lot of misogyny in other comedians. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. When I started out doing comedies in a classic comedy store bill, which is compare 2 acts, interval, 2 acts, finish, they would call the act first after the interval the girl spot. Because it's perceived to be the easiest spot. It's like the best spot to have. It just is the easiest. The audience have warmed up. They've had an interval, had a drink. They've all been to the toilet. They know how good it's going to be, so you just go on. It's not too late in the night, so that sort of thing. Yeah. But I think, I've always, a lot
of men joke about women. I know women will joke about men, but because it was mainly flooded by men over the years, the comedy scene. And a lot of them would be like at the wife's expense, a made-up wife and these made-up jokes. And I'm not saying it's not funny, I'll laugh along with them all.
But that's because we're changing them, aren't we? Misogyny and that sort of perception of women in society is slowly changing. I was brought up by a very powerful woman.
Yeah, I think northern women are. In general.
and I never can. I think clearly there are aspects of my personality that are get deep here, are informed by the patriarchy and the kind of like been led to this point by circumstances outside my control. But I think about it all the time. I have to think about that, and it's not. Some people say, now that I have a daughter, I think differently. Yeah. I don't think differently, but I see the world differently because I see it through her eyes in a different way. I don't know really. I think the world has been pretty shitty towards women for my lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, it's not everything's changed. I'm not sitting here as like a victim of it. I don't want to be a woman comedian. I could not do what you do. You're right. You need balls of steel that I would crumble. But I think you.
But that's you. That's not indicative of women, though, is it? I mean.
Yeah, no. But I think it's nice to see these changes coming. There are more women comedians, but I just wonder if because of these jokes, if that might have been what has made it difficult for women previously.
You know what? It's a thing that people talk about a lot in comedy, and no one really knows why. Yeah, some theories are that when you're starting out as a comedian, you're not getting paid well. It's a lot of late nights on your own. It's not safe for a man or a woman. But sometimes men are foolhardy or whatever. Yeah. There's another nice theory as well, that perhaps women don't need to show off as much as men.
Yeah, because a lot of jokes are written by women, especially like Channel 4, all Alan Carr's jokes, Jimmy Carr's jokes. It's mostly women.
Yeah, one of the best writers in TV comedy is Christine Rose. She's stunning. She writes a lot of stuff for TV, and she doesn't need to. There's perhaps that's a theory. I don't know. Why are there more men builders? Why are there more male radio presenters? Why are there more male bus drivers? Why are there more female?
That's it. Just some industries are going to be more.
Yeah, and it's changing, isn't it?
Yeah, and 100%. Yeah, it's changing because more women are now working than what would have done previously.
But there is an insidious kind of like sometimes people will go, women are not funny, are they? And I disagree. Women are funny.
Yeah, I think so. So what if your daughter said to you, Daddy, I want to be a comedian? Oh, not Daddy, because she's older. But
yeah.
was weird.
Do you know, I find one of the creepiest things is when old people in their 20s call their dad daddy.
Yeah. It's uncomfortable, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Mummy, daddy.
Daddy.
Go on, mate, turn it in.
Yeah, and in a baby voice as well.
Yeah. No, it's not healthy.
Yeah. Anyway, I need to talk about something else, which is not appropriate. But,
You do, please.
but you know that phrase when people use that phrase, use the what a weird thing to think about. Like,
especially if you've got kids though, anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, I think she might actually.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think she's got the chops to be a comedian. She's funny. You've got to be self-aware. You've got to be able to take a joke, only to a certain point. You've got to have a thick skin, and she's got all those. I think she's quite interested in the acting and that, and doing stuff. So she does a lot of that. She's quite funny. So if she said to me, "I want to be a stand-up comedian," or if my son did, I'd say, "Yeah,
Just
why
go
not?"
for it. Give
Yeah,
it a try.
you know why? This always makes me laugh when people go, "God, I won't let my kids do this." Why are you doing it then?
Yeah.
Why are you, if you don't want your kids to do it? Why are you doing it? Are you less important than your kids?
Yeah,
Do something else.
that's
So
good.
she might do, but I think I'd like her to go to university. I'd like her to get a degree, and you know, she's quite ambitious. She wants to go to Oxford or Cambridge. She's like,
Oh really?
that's what she's saying.
I love that.
So you don't say, "Oh, you'll never do that." You just have to go, "Okay, okay, we'll see. We'll deal with that when it comes." If it might be that she does, you know, you never know.
Yeah.
She loves school. She loves reading. She loves books. You know.
I love your approach to parenting. And sorry, I'm just getting loads more questions now.
No.
So obviously you was on fitness nights and all the rest of it, but what are you doing right now? I know you've got a
So
tour.
on tour.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to. I'm going to be 50 next year. I know it sounds weird, that doesn't it? I'm going to be 50 next year. And over the last couple of years, some things have happened to me where I've taken stock of my life. Like I had my hip replaced about 3 years ago because I had a bad hip when I was little. And so there's hip replacement, and I've lost, it doesn't look like I have, but I've lost quite a bit of weight. I've lost about 4.5 stone.
Wow.
So I'm still doing that, and I'm still trying to lose weight.
In how long? Good.
Over about 2 or 3 years.
That's
yeah.
amazing, though.
So I go lifting weights now and things like that, and doing different stuff and that, and I'm like constantly trying to self-improve, like every aspect of my life.
Is this why you stopped the drinking and
Yeah.
all at the same time?
Different things, different things over a period of time. So living a bit cleaner, not drinking, not turning the telly on for no reason. That's a big thing for me. Stop just turning the telly on and just trawling, doing more reading, doing more writing, try to do different things. So, and then my ambition is, I've got 2 things. I've got a play that I'm writing that I'd like to put on. So that's quite
What's
exciting.
that about? Can I ask?
Yeah, I mean, it's about, the idea is when people get together and they're about to commit to each other for life, often the common misconception, I think, is that we want to know about each other's histories and our sexual histories. And,
Yeah.
I think what's more interesting is who were all the people you wanted to, but you never did.
Oh, right.
Because those are skeletons that are not even in your cupboard.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to know my partner's history, to be honest.
But
It'd be...
what about all the people that you wish you had and you hadn't?
Yeah, but then you imagine, you compare yourself to them, like, oh my
Exactly,
God.
yeah, so that's the kind of idea
I am
of
not that person.
I'm really interested in the idea of commitment and what that means. And
Have you had this conversation with your wife?
no, I'm not married.
Oh, you.
No, we're together. We've been
Right,
together for a
okay.
long time, but we've both been married before, but we're not married. Not to each other, to other people.
Yeah, we've got divorced.
Trying to get used to the situation. So that, and then I really would like to write an audience sitcom to be filmed in the north of England in front of a live studio audience, a blue collar working class like sitcom, which I think the country's screaming out for.
What do you mean like that?
So an audience sitcom, so recording in front of a live audience, the kind of friends, kind of
All right, yeah.
joke every 15 seconds kind of thing, multi-camera what they call, so they film it in a studio, but with like a northern kind of aspect to it.
Yeah, and the North's getting really popular now. Do you not think over kind of the last 5 to 10 years, then people are more accepting of accents. You're hearing more of it on TV.
Well, you don't have to change your accent anymore. You used to be, like, I think I was sort of like, my generation of comedians didn't have to move to London, which was, good for us because the comedy scene up here was really good. And that's because of people like Peter and Steve Coogan and Carolina Hearn, and you kind of made it so you didn't have to go to London and change yourself.
So before that, then people would have done it. I don't
Yeah,
know
people have to
much,
move to,
much before that.
Yeah,
that's
Michael
my-
Palin in Monty Python's from Sheffield, and you know that's kind of
right.
you know it's a you know, but you wouldn't know that, would you? You know.
Yeah.
So I'd like to write a sitcom, and we got I've had 2 series on Radio 4 of a thing that I wrote about. It's called Everyone Quite Likes Justin, and it's about me, and it almost got made into a TV program. We got really close to it,
Oh, really?
and that's been my biggest disappointment that we didn't jump over that hurdle.
What? Sorry, I've not listened to that, Justin. What's that about then?
It's about Justin. It's me.
About you?
Yeah, and he gets divorced, and he has to move in with his gran.
Did that happen?
No. But it's funny. No, it is funny. So it's
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a listen. Can we still listen?
It's on Radio 4 Extra quite often. So try and find it. I'm sure it'll be out there somewhere, or you can buy it. I reckon. I don't know.
And well, yeah. And you was really another question. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I feel like I'm just going to keep you here forever. But another thing I wanted to ask you. I know you started on the podcast scene.
Yeah.
Really early, much earlier than anybody else.
Yeah.
What? Why? Why did you want to do that?
Well,
what's your opinion on it?
Well, funny enough, at the time of recording, I'm about 4 weeks haven't done one, which is really bad because I've been back on it properly.
Right.
It's just a great way of kind of content, you know. It's very good for me. I don't get on television a lot, so for me, giving the fans, make sure that the listeners to this can see me doing the air fingers, the quotes. So your fans have got something. So if you're giving something to them every week, podcast is really good. It's a way of them letting know where you are and that sort of thing. And people love podcasts.
Yeah.
I sort of dipped out of it and then I came back, and I've not been interesting since I've been on tour. I've not recorded one because I've not been with anybody. I've been on my own.
Oh, right,
I've been
yeah.
travelling on my own. I've been quite lonely.
No.
So you've reminded me. Really, I'm out of the habit. What I would have done when I first arrived here, I would have had a chat with you for 5 minutes, just with my phone going like that, backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
And then that would have been it. And that's what it is. It's snippets about a week every week. So yeah, it's been good. It's been like, that's the one thing that people always mention when they see me, and different characters that are in it, like that. My mate Trevor's on it a lot, and my daughter's on it a lot. She was called Little Miss Moorhouse. And then she didn't want to be called that, so we was calling her Miss Moorhouse. And then for a bit, we started calling her Janet. We made a name up for her. And now she's called the artist formerly known as Janet. It's like this little running jokes.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that.
My missus is called the current potential second Mrs. Moorhouse. And my son was Justin Junior for years, but then when he turned 21, we had a grand unveiling of his name. So now his real name's on there. He's called Barney. So he's on there as himself now. So
Right. Oh, what an honour.
yeah, he chose. Yeah, he chose. Yeah, so yeah.
Sweet.
So really, if in conclusion, here's my advice to anybody who's looking for some advice to do anything.
Yeah.
Is if you can do something that you love, that's brilliant. Whatever you decide to do, you've got to work hard at it. And thirdly, it's never too late to change your mind.
Yeah, that's good advice. I
Yeah,
love that.
if you find something and you're not enjoying it, you can always do something else.
Yeah.
You can always do something else.
Yeah, just don't be stuck. And
No. Some of the best people I know change their minds at things. My mate Alfie Joey, he was a priest. Then he became a monk. And then he had enough of that. He became a toy demonstrator. Then a comedian in Harrods, demonstrating toys. Then he became a comedian, an actor. He's very good at that. And for the last 10 years, he's hosted the breakfast show on BBC Newcastle. And now he does TED Talks on the idea of changing lanes.
Right, yeah, that is nuts. That is.
Yeah.
That
Every
is
10 years, he's
vast.
changed his life.
Yeah.
So he does that sort of thing. So he's an interesting guy. And I kind of like hold him in high regard for that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But you can always, some of the best people were something, then became something else,
Well, hopefully
we're going to be dead. We'll all be dead by the time we're 100.
Yeah.
So you might as well make the most of it, haven't you?
Do what you can, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Well, Justin, thank you so much
Thank
for coming,
you.
number one. It's been amazing, insightful. I think our listeners will take something from your advice as well.
Thanks very much. If you want tickets for my tour, you can get them. Just in Moorhouse.